There are so many misconceptions about starting a business, and we're here to give you the real facts. This podcast will focus on the hard truths, not the highlight reel. See, it's easy to get into a shitty business, but it's much, much harder to have a great, sustainable, successful business. It's time we get real and remove the facade that building a business is easy. So join Joe and I for Business Without Bullshit.
What do you think is the part of that transition, or the part of that early stage of business that maybe yourself or people generally most underrate in terms of their knowledge, i.e. which course, which part of the Navigate Biz information is probably the most underrated but yet the most helpful part?
I guess from seeing my friends want to start businesses and myself, you think it's a very creative process, and what I've learned is there's maybe 5% of my business that's actually creative and doing all the stuff I enjoy, and then the other half is numbers, analyzing my metrics, doing profit and loss, that stuff I had no clue about, and I'm still super naive. So definitely in the courses, knowing your numbers, and from filming with you guys, and you guys saying you don't have an accountant yet, I was like, oh, I need an accountant? What? That doesn't. Okay, I'll go get one.
But what a great awareness that you're developing, Grace, by being exposed to these conversations that Nick and I are having and the filming that we're doing, which is then going directly to our audience. But how awesome is that you're gaining that awareness, and that's part of it, is people are naive, ignorant. I don't want to use the harsh word of ignorant, but they're just not aware.
People are ignorant.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's use it. They don't.
I was ignorant. I'm happy to say it.
Yeah. It's a strong word.
I mean, I think we're all ignorant to things that we're not aware of, but those things are still out there and behind, and they affect our everyday life. We're just ignorant to it.
Yeah.
You know what I love is when I worked for I worked for a fashion company, and I would be like, I can be my own boss one day, I can run this better than they can. And now I'm in it, I'm like, oh God, they were on top of it. They knew exactly what they were doing. I was just a cocky little 21-year-old.
Yeah,
that's it. I do have a little smirk because people think, he's just a whirlwind. Everything's all disorganised. He's all over the place. Rightio.
Yeah.
You'll work it out one day.
Yes, appearances are deceiving, aren't they? And I'll be the first to admit, Grace and I don't know if you've heard this story, but when I first started my business back in 2001, I was that person. I had that egotistical feeling that they'll just come. Yeah, I know it all. And it took me a year to work out, and I was just pretty much the main breadwinner of the family, and it was nearly catastrophic. But there was such an element of ego there for me, and I understand what you're saying, and just so many people, but sadly so many people don't have that epiphany. I certainly got a great big slap across the back of my head from people external to me. So what I loved hearing from you as well was that you need to be surrounded by people that can support you, challenge you, check you, hold you accountable, all those sort of things, because otherwise you just spin in your wheels.
Humility and self-awareness, and I think humility and self-awareness are woven, through almost all of our content.
Yeah.
And they are the two greatest strengths that you can have as a business owner. Have the humility to know that I don't know it all, and that I surround myself with others all day. In every single business, I'm surrounding myself with others, so I've got more ideas on the table because I don't know it all. And that self-awareness to understand what other types of people that I need to plug in around me, so that I can bring the average up. Because what skill set don't I have, or am I not great at, or do I not want to focus on? Humility and self-awareness, key transition. Because again, that's really foreign to most people, especially if you're in a job.
100%. I'm sorry. I'm not ashamed to say I walked into my meeting with an accountant last week, first time I met him, and I said, look, I have no idea what I'm doing. And he looked at me like, oh, okay. I have a bank account and I have an ABN. How can you help me? And he kind of looked at me like I was not expecting that.
But a lot of people don't. They don't go in. They just say, can you just do my returns? That's all they think they're there for. They don't think they're there to provide guidance.
And in your business particularly, like you've got inventory, you would expect to grow, both grow the sales of each individual product, but also grow the width of your product. And so that inventory is actually probably going to go twice as fast as you expect, as you add each product line on, and you need more depth in each individual product. So that's cash flow forecast. Like that's, you really got to have that cash flow forecast in mind, because you go, well, what sales do I want? What product do I need to support that?
Yeah.
And then in turn, what cash resource do I need to support that? And at what times of the month?
Yeah.
Because you've got lead times, et cetera. And hey, I know we've spoken about before about, sea freight versus air freight. And, that difference in cost, between them is actually a lot of inventory.
Yeah.
When you start talking hundreds or maybe even thousands of dollars of difference between air freight and sea freight, yes, it's time, but it can translate into a lot more stock if that cost is put into something that's coming in a little different route. Now, to be able to do that, you need to forecast that, right? That's big lumps that come out 2 or 3 or 4 times in a year. That as a employee, you're not used to that. You're used to getting the same amount every fortnight or month.
Yeah.
And your costs are probably pretty stable. Like your rent's not going to change much. Your food bill's not going to change much. You might go on a holiday. You might have one major lumpy bit through the year. But as for most employees that have their 4 weeks off a year, they might have a couple-week holiday. That's their big lumpy bit of the year. But then if another lump comes in the year, like maybe a death in the family or an accident or something like that, they can't deal with 2 lumps in a year. In a business, like I say, like even a small business starting out like yourself, Grace, you've probably got 4 lumpy parts of the year where you've got every quarter maybe a big lump of inventory coming in, and you need a plan, forecast for that, and that's a big transition for most people.
I also think another transition is, for example, I go to work at Navigate and I just have my job and I focus on that job. I don't know everything going on in the business. When you are an employer, you have to be on top of everything, and that was a massive thing. Like here I'm thinking like, I can make my social media look really cool. I can make my product look really cool. And then it's like, oh no, you've got to worry about customer journey, brand awareness, numbers.
Lots of hats, Grace, and it's time management, as Nick mentioned before. But I just want to jump in. Hey, Lloyd, welcome and join. Great for you to pop in. Lloyd is one of our Business Ignite clients. And he is in startup phase, looking at what he's going to be doing. So welcome, Lloyd. If you want to join the conversation, just jump on in.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw this one pop up on my phone. I thought, I'll dive in there quickly.
Nice one.
Great to have you along, Lloyd. Great to have you.
Yeah, indeed.
So we're talking about transition from employee to employer, and just so many areas, and we've covered off on a few of them. And we've talked mainly around the financial aspect and getting yourself really comfortable, but also the mindset, the can-do mindset, the mindset shifting from, hey, I can learn this, I will learn this, I need to learn this, as opposed to the old default, I'm just crap at this and I can't do it, and I'm no good at it, I'm going to be finished. So that closed mindset versus a growth mindset, massive transition for most people.
Yes, and I think a lot of what sits around that is people are jumping into business. They're jumping for business for different reasons, and we're seeing a lot of it from as a result of last year. My job has changed, or I've lost it, and I'm jumping into a business, or it just seems like a great idea without a lot of thought about it. They haven't really tapped into it. I know, Grace, you have a very deep why, and I know, Lloyd, you do too. Is you have a clear understanding as to why you need to start have this drive to start this business. Would you agree?
100%. And can I just put in there, can people stop putting on their Instagram, oh, I had a business and in 12 months it's become this multi-million-dollar thing and I am living a lovely life. People stop saying that because that is not happening to me. And
but you shouldn't. For one, is to stop looking at Instagram.
Well, not even that. I don't want to hear those stories. I mean, they're great and inspiring, but I want to hear the people that are in the same position as me, and I want to know if my highs and lows of business, if that's happening to other people.
If it's normal, yeah.
Yeah.
Which it is.
And this is a great thing you bring up here, Grace, and this is a transition. So what it is a business, I was having this discussion yesterday, one of the most important things in business and in life, and one of the really key things is momentum. Okay? Yeah. Momentum is one of the great strengths that you can have in business and in life. Now, it is up to you to build that momentum, and the way that you do that is your attitude and the information that you are filling yourself up with. You're topping up your tank with information each day. And that's really important that you're real selective about where that information is coming from. And so typically we go through life 9 to 5 as an employee, and we're just taking in whatever information's in front of us. We're just taking in whatever sound bites, whatever news bits are in front of us. And it's up to us as a business owner and the CEO of our business and our life to really control heavily and filter heavily what information are coming in. If there's something coming in your feed, you've got two choices. You can either have that coming in there or you can unfollow and you can jump, get rid of that stuff out of there, because it's actually just like it's our modern day news, right? That's what we're starting to take in more so than 6 o'clock news. And there's just so much rubbish coming through that subconsciously is tainting our outlook, and therefore it slows down our momentum. And momentum is key. You've got to have that outlook right and just keep fueling that momentum each and every day.
Yeah, I guess my thing is, where do I find the people I can relate to?
Oh, well, you find them in Navigate, for sure. That was a leading question.
There's no post in my feed about what car I drive, what holiday I'm on.
Yeah.
Very little around, house, any of that kind of stuff. It's about what it takes to build a business. Like, we're really conscious, I think, at Navigate to actually get into the mechanics of what it is like as a business owner and what you need to do to get through and be successful. I make no secret of the fact that, hey, I've been very, very fortunate that I have built these businesses, but I talk about how it's done.
Yeah.
I talk about the things that I've done wrong and the things that I've got right to try and shortcut that for other people. I don't talk about the things that I've been able to go on and purchase. Well, very rarely would I talk about the things that I've been able to go on and do with the success of those businesses. I think that's an important difference, right?
Yeah. And I think, as Nick suggested, Grace, it's your awareness of those posts and those people who are posting the stuff that don't serve you. Disconnect. Don't unfollow them. Or if you choose to follow them for whatever reason, make the decisions to not buy in on the message they're delivering. If there's some other reason why you want to follow them, we'll do that. But mindfully, don't let them impact your mindset. Because there's a lot of people out there, and then you've got to wonder, well, is it sustainable? What's been behind that? They might have turned the business on 12 months ago, but what was the stuff that happened prior to that? You don't know, and they don't share that. Because
it's not pretty enough.
No, exactly.
What we're sharing is that stuff. That's what we're looking into. Back to what it takes to build a business. If you're thinking about starting a business, what should you be looking at? We go through all the courses. Hopefully, Lloyd, you had a great opportunity to go through all that stuff, and hopefully you concur that we sort of unpicking the journey. We unpick the process and preparing. I think importantly, getting rid of all this facade and pulling that back and preparing for it is going to be tough, and you do need to learn a lot of stuff. But the rewards at the other end are great, but these are to really prepare yourself for that journey, because it's not easy. It just isn't.
No.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, you've been saying, Grace, pretty much resonates with me, somebody who has been an employee pretty much all of my life, but have had ideas for quite a few, or a couple of years about small business, but have been thrown into not having a job, not by my, not quite, but the timing of me wanting to leave employment. I was out of employment from March, and I started to see, I think I see all of the social media that you can do this in 2 weeks, you can do this in a couple of months, and 1 year you'll be home earning $500,000 plus.
Yeah.
But I very, very quickly sort of honed my focus. I was just coming back to something Nick was saying a few minutes ago. An employee where I go to work, do my thing, have my own interests as well, but my focus was quite narrow. Now, and especially doing all of the online content from Nick and Joanne, a real realisation that, it's bloody hard.
So hard.
It's really, really hard, but it gets a lot easier when every morning your mindset is changing. You're absorbing the content from Joanne and Nick. I'm ignoring certain social media stuff. My skills, my attention's being honed. So for me, yes, it is really hard. But naturally, I'm finding that my energy is adapting to what I need to do on a day-to-day basis, and that's now taking me from learning some really good stuff. Nick and Joanne, I've spoken to Joanne a bit more than Nick. Now starting to take action. Well, I've been in that blinded. I've got so much information, so many ideas, but I've got no idea where to start. And especially never having had a small business before. A bit of patience, a bit of focus, and just ignoring all the noise that's around you.
Have you made a start now, Lloyd?
I certainly have.
Woo!
Nice one.
Congratulations on starting.
And I'll share a bit more with both of you, because Joanne knows that a big focus of mine is the alternative therapies, the energy work. I avoid using the word healing. That I'm finding that is, I'm building up that a step behind now. I'm actually starting off with, and I will share some figures, Joanne, if I can, shortly.
Sure.
My core background was radio communications. I think there's a gap in the market for a wireless broadband, radio communications, sort of consultancy service. Got a couple of possible clients. So that's my focus. With where I am, not having the comfort of finances around me. I know part of the courses is one of the reasons to not start a business is if you're desperate for money, if you're out of a job. But I think I've worked backwards to the radio side is the thing I can set up more quickly, more easily, to test a lot of the way I'm doing things and getting my message out, website, social media stuff. So I think that will be a better beginning for me, even if it might not end up being the main business. While I'm also sort of looking at a couple of part-time opportunities to sort of get a bit more income as well.
Yeah, look, I'll take a couple of things out of that, Lloyd. So it's interesting you picked up, hey, don't go chasing the money, which is what we do talk about a lot, but do go chasing it. Be connected with the problem that you're solving, and it sounds as though that you've honed in on there is a problem out there. So I'm not entirely sure with what your product or service is there, but if you've found a problem that you are connected with, that you understand, and and you understand the customer and you found an easier way to commercialise that than perhaps what you were initially thinking, I think, I'm all for that, because cash flow is absolutely vital in any business. Of course, for the human that sits in behind it that's got the bills to pay, right? So there's absolutely nothing wrong with finding, I guess, what I call the low-hanging fruit, the easiest way to get commercial out of that, even if that's not the end game, but it becomes a stepping stone that you can, over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, start to see the other things which are more deeply important to you. Does that make sense?
It sure does, and it's put with huge clarity.
Great.
So the difference between chasing the money and actually finding a shorter path to market through something that is a stepping stone to the end game. Like that's, as I say, hey, people say, don't worry about money. You need to worry about money. We're on an economic planet. Everything costs money. And so it's, don't let money necessarily be the driver, but it should be the enabler.
Yeah.
There's a very slight distinction, but a very important one, I think.
Yep. Absolutely. So there's some messages that have been very clear from you and Joanne, sit really comfortably with me. But making sure my why is a big one, and it's passionate to me. What are the pain points I'm looking at? I've got a good grip there. Doing something for the benefit of people all the world. I know to one of you, I referred to Ken Honda's book, Happy Money.
Yes.
I'm very much of the view of, a couple of years ago, it would have been, I can't do this because I don't have the money. And I want the money. Now it's, I can do this. It is a beneficial thing that I think is going to take off. And through that, I'll attract the right people and the money I need at the same time. Huge change of mindset.
That's awesome, Lloyd. I'm really pleased to hear that, because I know you and I have spoken many times about the healing piece that you wanted to do. But what I love is that you've realised that is a deep passion for you and very connected to your why. But as Nick suggested, business people jump into this grandiose ideas, but they don't want to. It's not that they don't want to do the hard work. They don't want to take the path that is not necessarily. They may not necessarily connect it to the end product. So what I'm hearing for you is a deep awareness that you have a skill set, you've identified a gap in the market, and you can take that to market and you can commercialise it with the full understanding that in the longer term, you are working towards the business of your dreams and the one that's going to tap into your why. That is a wonderful awareness and epiphany for you.
Yeah, I congratulate you too there, Lloyd. What I'm hearing is very positive and certainly makes us very happy, because that's why we're here and do what we do. But it's a journey. People are looking at the straight line path to, hey, this is the thing that's really important to me. I mean, and I probably a lot of this will resonate with Grace as well, because she's got an end game that's super important to her. And that's it. Many people go and start, this is what I'm trying to achieve, so I've got to go a straight line straight to that. That's not business. That's not reality. It's a very zigzag, jagged path to get to the end game. And the reality is you need to really solve some big problems and generate some big wealth over time to be able to do that. And so there's a lot of things that zigzag across the journey to make that happen over time. And that's what I'm hearing from you. And that feels like you are really in touch with reality and on your way. Your mindset sounds great. You sound like you're in a really good place. That doesn't mean it's easy, but it does mean that you can do it.
It's smoother.
Congratulations, Lloyd.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes, thank you again. It's taken a month and a half from the point of the day of stopping being an employee and going, oh my God, I need a full-time job. What am I going to do without one? To have a complete reset. Yes, all of the stuff you've said, all the stuff you've provided and I've read a bit has been so useful. But yes, for those of us doing it, myself, Grace, and the others, I will, for my own sake and maybe for other people's benefit, I will be able to verbalise and get down in writing that jump from employee to employer. But at the moment, yes, just virtually impossible. It felt in March to get to this point of going, yeah, I am embracing it. There's actually action being taken now.
Great. Fantastic. And I'm really keen to see how this goes for you, Lloyd, and watch the journey and trusting that you can stick with us. And, we've got some awesome products coming up that I know that you will love. So just watch out. I'm pretty sure you're in the Facebook page, Navigate Academy, and that's where we're going to be announcing it on the 28th of May, what it's all about. So
exciting, very exciting.
We're so excited for what we've got. I know that you are going to love it.
Okay, so that about wraps up this episode. If you're looking for more information about how to improve your business, check out our website, navigatebiz.com, NAVIG8BIZ.com, where we have loads of really cool free shit, tools, templates, blogs, information to help you and your business. Thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you next time.